Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode. Oh, gosh, I'm already failing this.
Try again.
I'm gonna try again.
You want to hit the reset
I'll hit
button.
the reset. Boop. Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 25 of Life is Daijoubu. Today, we're going to be doing our manga 3x3's. My name is Cole. I am joined by Thane.
Yeah.
And Skylar.
Yeah.
These freaking guys, dude. Today we're going to be doing our manga 3x3's. Not a super traditional episode of our podcast. We're not going to be going over any show that we watched over the past 2 weeks. In fact, we are pre-recording this because we are planning to move at the end of this month, which is May.
New set.
We are moving.
New set.
Well, we still got to plan things out.
Well,
I'm excited for the new set.
We gotta move out by the
We gotta move.
end
We're
of the
gonna
month.
kick us out.
They gave us an eviction notice.
Yeah.
I thought that's kind of silly that they did that. It's like, of course we're gonna move. We didn't
told you
renew.
we're gonna move.
Yeah, we told you.
We're not renewing our contract. We're not renewing our contract, bucko. So we're getting out
So,
of here.
what are your guys' thoughts? Do you guys like neon signs?
Neon signs are cool.
What if we got custom neon signs for our podcasts?
I'd be
and
cool
then
with that.
it was like when we're doing Life is Daijoubu, it lights up.
It's like the little microphone.
Yeah, and then when we do Talking Red, it lights
A
up.
little kitty.
Yeah.
A little meow.
I think it would work really well, but we just need to make sure that we have better lighting all around for this. set.
Totally, yeah. Yeah, so we're gonna be doing
That's
that.
like how Cold Ones. They
Yeah.
got their own custom LED sign.
I think there's a lot of
on their
people that
set.
do.
They're not that expensive either. My
Yeah.
sister has been looking into them.
Really?
Because she's getting married.
I thought they were expensive.
I thought so too.
Wow.
Yeah.
It depends on what your definition of expensive is.
Okay. I just saw like that. But yeah, so that's what we're going to be doing at the end of the month. So we're pre-recording this episode, our manga 3x3 for episode 25. And then after this, next time, episode 26 will be another pre-recorded one where we're going to be talking about Suzume. So you've got essentially, as of this episode, you've got 2 weeks to watch the movie Suzume, so you can be prepared for that episode. We probably won't be talking about news in that episode, but we'll talk about our seasonal stuff at that time as well. Anyway, so this is going to be very reminiscent of the very first episode of Life is Daijoubu, where we did our anime 3x3s, which is funny because I pulled up the program to make the 3x3s, and I saw our anime 3x3s. Oh, you're spoiling, guy. Jeez.
In my head, I was like, oh, it'll come up over there. No, I'm wrong.
I looked at our anime 3x3s, and I was just all like, oh, yeah, some of my tastes have changed even in the past year of doing it. So
Wait,
at
do
some
you have
point,
those anime 3x3s so we could?
not right now.
Maybe
I
we
don't.
could
They're-
do like an yeah, that's probably what you're saying. Sorry, keep going.
Yeah, at some point we should do a remake.
Yeah, remake.
Maybe like episode 50 or something. In another year we'll do it or something. Because I think 25 is right around a year-ish. It's
Mhm.
probably going to be 26, 27, 28. One of those is going to be the actual year mark.
Mm-hmm.
But we're right around a year, so that's pretty
crazy, dude. That went by so fast.
Yeah. So, as Skylar so nicely put it up on the screen, and as you will see in your faces right now, because I'll put it on the I'll blur the background, and you're looking at it right now. That's my 3x3. I'm gonna run through them, and then I'll go by one individually. So, on the top row, starting from left to right, I've got Kaguya-sama Love is War, Pokemon Adventures, One Punch Man. Next middle row thing, I've got Rent a Girlfriend, then Attack on Titan, and then Wotakoi, Love is Hard for Otaku. And then the bottom left, starting from the bottom left, I got Candy Flurry, then Free Ren Beyond Journey's End, and then Summertime Rendering on the bottom right. So, some of these are pretty obvious picks. I think if you guys know me, you kind of go, yeah, of course Cole picked that one, duh. And the other ones are like, okay, that's interesting. And those are the ones I'm kind of most excited to talk about because I think you guys have heard me just gush about some of these things that are pretty obvious. But anyway, so let's start with the top left, Kaguya-sama Love is War. Love is War is probably my favorite rom-com of all time. I don't think there's anything better in my opinion. I love a lot of different rom-coms like Nizikoi, Rent a Girlfriend. Rent a Girlfriend's even on there, but there's another reason why that's on there. We Never Learn, and so on. There's plenty of them that I quite enjoyed while I was reading them, and I just think Love is War does it best. I think they have the best dynamics for their characters. I thought the romance seemed genuine for the most part. I mean, granted, here and there it's kind of bombastic and overblown, but it's doing that to be funny, basically. But yeah, I just honestly thought it was great. I think Akasaka is an incredible writer. I love his current series, Oshinoko, and his new series that he just started that I can't remember the name of it, but I've read chapter 1 because that's all that's out at this point. Seems like it's going to be interesting. And it's also confirmed that that's also tied into the Kaguya-verse or whatever it is. So that's pretty cool. That's
really cool. It also, like, what I really like about Love is War, and another thing that really appeals to you is a lot of the, like, updated references. Like, he plays on, like, Apex Legends is up front and center.
The fact that there's, like, so many, there's a whole arc dedicated to Apex Legends, essentially. And Apex is, like, my favorite, what's it called? Free-to-play.
Shooter Battle Royale,
free-to-play kind of game that there is. I don't like really anything else. I mean, I'll dabble occasionally, but for the most part, Apex is number one. And so just the fact that he goes into depth with it and, like, makes the characters in Apex actually matter for, like, the characters that they pick, and it's just cool. And, like, it's all subtle. They don't actually say the names of the characters, but, like, well, I guess they do. They do say Wraith at one point because Ishigami's yelling at the Wraith for rushing in. But yeah, I love it. It's super, super good. Very, very fun. Next up, we've got Pokemon Adventures. So Pokemon Adventures is up there for 2 reasons. Number 1 is actually, this is my very first manga, I'm pretty sure. Could be mistaken, but I'm pretty sure it's my very first manga that I've ever read was Pokemon Adventures, surprisingly. Back when I was first getting back into Pokemon after I did my Pokemon is Too Cool break, I was getting into it starting around the X and Y era. And I was looking into all of the different aspects of Pokemon. I had the anime and the games, obviously. And then I found out about the manga, and I saw these cool box sets where you could get the whole generations in each of these different box sets. So I purchased the red, green, blue, yellow box set and the gold, silver, crystal box set. And I first got them, and I was like, wow, my book's backwards kind of thing. I did that whole thing. I remember that.
Nice.
And I read through the entirety of Red, Blue, and Yellow, and then I got a couple volumes into Gold, Silver, Crystal, and then just dropped it. Kind of fell off of it and didn't ever look back. But now, since getting back into manga even more heavily, I've really, really, really gotten into the series. I've read pretty much all of it, save for little bits and pieces of the Sun and Moon arc. I've not quite finished that entirely. It's still not completed yet. I mean, it's complete, but there's still going to be bonus chapters when it's fully volumized, so I'm not waiting for that, but it would be nice to have those as well. But yeah, so those are the 2 main reasons why Pokemon Adventures is on there. And also, I love making the little YouTube videos.
Yeah, I was going to say, you are the manga guy, the Pokemon manga guy on YouTube.
Yeah, there's a handful of people that have done videos on the Pokemon mangas, or rather, specifically Adventures. But the most I've really seen is up to the Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald arc. I've not really seen anybody do anything else past that. I'm pretty sure I'm, like, the only one that's gotten past that. And I just love that I was able to, like, show off, like, the timeline of the series, the timeline of its creation, and all these things that were pretty unknown, and now I just basically made it so it could be more known. Really, really cool. That's part of the reason why I love this series. So let's move on to the next one. We've got One Punch Man. One Punch Man is an interesting series. It's not my favorite series by any means. I don't think it's the greatest thing in the world. I think it's awesome, and it's hilarious a lot of the times too. But the reason why it's up there is because it's another manga that I started reading forever ago, before I was really deeply into manga and even anime at that point. One of my buddies picked it up at a Walmart, volume 1, and then, like, I read his copy, and then we were all excited about the manga. We kept going with it. And so that's kind of how I got into that. And it was just, like I said, it was just really before I was into the anime and manga stuff. I mean, I was into it, but not as heavily as I am now, for sure. So next up, I've got Rent a Girlfriend. And this is also another one of the main reasons I'm heavily into manga as I am now. I wanted to start collecting physically, and the first thing, for some reason, I decided to collect physically was Rent a Girlfriend. I believe I found volumes 1 through 4 in Mercari for like $25 or $30, and I was like, dang, this is a steal. I'm going to buy it. So I bought it and got it in the mail, and now I've got over 100 volumes of different manga, and so it's just become an addiction at this point. But it basically started with Rent a Girlfriend, getting them physically anyway. I was pretty deep into just reading them at that point, but physically, it started with Rent a Girlfriend. The story's pretty dang good in my opinion, up until a certain part where it peaks, and then, like I said, it peaks.
It's kind of a weird mess from there.
Yeah. So that is Rent a Girlfriend. Right in the middle, I've got Attack on Titan. Now, this is honestly like the final of these are my roots with manga, because Attack on Titan was probably, if Pokemon Adventures wasn't my first manga, it was Attack on Titan. I don't know which one I read first, to be honest, but I believe it was Pokemon Adventures, but if not, like I said, Attack on Titan. So it was probably around my sophomore, junior year of high school where I'd watched all of Attack on Titan at the time that we had, and I was so into it that I needed to know what happens next. And so I picked up the manga and started reading right then and there. And since then, like, what is that, 2013, basically, I've been reading Attack on Titan. And it's just pretty crazy that I stuck with it as long as I did. And I remember when it was ending, it was very like a melancholic, like, oh, this thing that I've been with for this long is now done.
Literally a decade almost.
Basically, yeah.
Decade. Well, no.
Not as like I had been with it, but I think it had been going for roughly a decade. But still, it was just like a very surreal moment for me. So that was the first manga that I was able to, I guess, finish, as it was publishing. And it was, I don't know, I just really love the story, honestly. I think Attack on Titan's great. Even with all of the ups and downs, I just think it's got a pretty fun story. And I quite enjoy it, and the characters too. And I mean, what could you want? The guys are Spider-Man, but with swords. Like, it's cool.
Is it a mecha?
Is it mecha or a kaiju?
Let us know in the comments down below.
Thanks, Evangelion, for making that so confusing.
Okay, so the next one I've got is Wotakoi, Love is Hard for Otaku. Another one of the rom-coms that I have on this 3x3. I'm a pretty big fan of rom-coms in general. And I really just love anime/manga rom-coms. I think they do something different that's exciting and fun that I just really can't get enough of. And Wotakoi, in my opinion, is just right underneath Kaguya-sama. But it doesn't top Kaguya-sama, but it's up there for different reasons than Kaguya-sama. So Wotakoi is about people that are, let's say, like 24 to 28, probably around those ages. So our ages, basically. And I always thought that was cool, and that was exciting for me, just to see a manga essentially about people roughly my age. So that alone was exciting. And then just how each of the characters interact. I love all the humor in it. The cast is super, super fun. The chemistry is great amongst each one of them. This was one of the first ones I think I started getting physically, and I just think the way they put everything together is just done super, super well. There's a bunch of bonus stuff in each one of the volumes, and you get like color pages at the beginning of every single volume as well, and it's super, super cool. Overall, just a phenomenal manga. I've read through the whole thing twice just because I like it that much. It's just a blast, honestly. So now we're going to move into the bottom row. This is more recent stuff that I've read. I would say it's the more recent stuff that's, I guess, influenced my taste on things. The first thing we have is Candy Flurry. Candy Flurry is a Shonen Jump manga that was published in Weekly Shonen Jump and has a total of roughly 22 chapters. Maybe less, actually, that I'm really thinking about it. Candy Flurry was a fun one. It's by no means any, like, incredible, phenomenal story. And it was indeed axed, as the Shonen Jump manga go. And the reason why it's on my list is because it was my first Shonen Jump manga that got axed. I think it was about a year and a half ago, maybe more, that I'd started getting into Shonen Jump stuff and wanting to read things as they come out week by week, like many other people. And Candy Flurry was basically the manga that had started publishing the same time that I started reading. And so I was hooked on it just because it was the new thing. No one else had really read it. It was brand new. I was excited about it. I read it every single week and stuck with it. And then one day I realized, oh, a lot of stuff is happening faster than it probably should be happening. That's not good. And the next week, there was the last chapter of the manga,
Oh, no.
and I was incredibly sad about it. I had never experienced what it would be like to get the manga you're reading axed, and now I knew. And Candy Flurry was that for me. It was a unique concept, but it wasn't that exciting or great, which is probably why it got axed. But regardless, that's my story with Candy Flurry. Next, we've got Frieren Beyond Journey's End. Frieren is a fun one. It's a fantasy manga that I got into, I'd want to say it was about a year and a half ago, maybe even more. Around the same time that Volume 1 of Frieren came out, I think I was watching the Omnibus Collector on YouTube, and he was just talking about every single, as he does like every single month, he talks about all of the releases that are going to be coming out for this month for every single publisher. He gets to Viz, and he talks about Frieren, and the little, like, I guess, synopses that he did of it. I was like, okay, this is cool, this is interesting, I'd like to read this. And so on our little manga trips that we used to go on all the time, maybe once every other month or so, we were down at Barnes & Noble, and I'm like, okay, cool, I'm going to pick up Frieren because that seemed interesting. I want to see what it's all about. I pick it up, and I go home, and I read it, and I read the whole volume in an entire sitting, and I freaking loved it. Holy cow, Frieren is amazing. The art is incredible. The comedy is so fun. The characters are also a delight. And just the dynamic and, like, the unique premise that I'd never really seen because I was never really into fantasy that much at all. So to see a fantasy story with a unique premise just seems so refreshing and cool, and I quite enjoy Frieren. I highly recommend that one. The anime, I believe, is starting in the fall season of this year, so look forward to that as well. And now it's on the Viz Manga app, and I don't know if I want to get caught up on it like that or not. We'll see.
I probably will.
I recommend it. It is really dang good.
So much manga on there now. It's like, where do I start?
Oh, totally.
Oh my
yeah.
god!
Just
I still got all my Shonen Jump manga.
You can start with Frieren.
Yeah.
It's not too long right
Yeah.
now. I think there's 80-ish chapters currently published, so pretty
And
dang
is it
good.
simulpubbed?
It'll be simulpubbed, yeah.
Yes.
That's why I'm curious. Like, that's why I'm thinking, like, should I get caught up on it? Because I
Yeah.
kind of want to read it simulpub, but I do enjoy getting the volumes.
Although they probably have like some volumes not on there. They still have backlog.
there's 3 volumes that are not translated just yet.
Hmm.
Okay, so the last one I have is Summertime Rendering. Now, Summertime Rendering is an interesting one for me. I really enjoyed the story, and I read through it fairly quickly, I would say. And I kind of got it on a whim during one of Right Stuff's sales. They had Summertime Rendering hardcover on sale or something in a pre-order, and I decided to pick it up just because I thought, hey, I like time travel stories. This could be fun. It's more of a Groundhog Day story, if I'm being honest. It's not really time travel, but sorta. Regardless, though, it was a lot of fun. I got the first 3 volumes from that little sell I just talked about. I read through the first 3 volumes, and, like, as I started the 3rd volume, I went on back onto Right Stuff and I purchased the other 3 volumes so I would have them by the time I finished the 3rd volume. I did have to wait a couple days, but still I was able to get it, and I finished the latter 3 volumes, and overall just a fun story. It's a pretty fun ride the whole way through. The manga is very well done. The art is pretty dang good. I watched, I think, the first 6 or 7 episodes of the anime, and it's pretty dang faithful. Every now and then you have a little adaptation differences, but I mean, that's a given with anything that you'll read/watch. So, Summertime Rendering is just a fun one. And I kind of wanted something else to round out all of my picks that also kind of encapsulates my tastes. And Summertime Rendering was that. I mean, it just did a perfect job of being a seinen style, kind of like a dark fantasy almost thing. Really cool. Not super fantasy, but fantasy elements, I guess. Earlier, though, before Summertime Rendering was there, this is my honorable mention. Before I put Summertime Rendering, I had Real Account on there, which is just a whole story and a half where I watched this video from Gigic, and by the time I had watched it, it was like a 2-year-old video or something like that, and it said, like, these are the 5 manga that you need to watch that don't have anime adaptations. And I watched the video, and like 4 of the 5 ended up getting anime adaptations anyway. I don't remember what any of them were, but the one that didn't was called Real Account, and that was the one that interested me the most. So I started reading it on my favorite shady source of reading manga.
I bet you it's going to be one of those anime that everyone's going to manga that everyone's going to forget about. Then suddenly, out of the blue, hey, we got an anime adaptation to it.
I doubt it. I don't think it's ever going to get an anime. If it does, I will be super surprised.
Yeah, but sometimes I see manga get anime, like a freaking, what's it called? Lucifer and Biscamera. It's like,
true.
why did
that is
this
a good
get
point.
an anime?
You're right.
It was terrible.
So I'm reading through this manga, and I get like probably, I want to say 4-ish volumes to the end, and the person that was fan dubbing or fan subtitling, or what is it called?
Translating.
Scanlating. The person or team or whoever was scanlating the real account manga just stopped one day, and for no reason. I could not find out why they stopped, and there was nowhere to even find any other bits of pieces of the manga. So to this day, I've never finished real account. I've got all the way to wherever that scanlator ended, and then that was it. I've slowly been collecting them as they've been releasing physically, and I think I'm only 2 volumes off. They've started making 3-in-1 versions of them. There's such a weird. The whole series is super strange with all of the publication, the scanlation stuff. The series itself is just kind of strange and weird. But that I just thought it was
like
fun.
how the 3-in-1s literally just have the spines, like it's a normal
Yep.
manga, and literally it's just. But then you pick it up, and it's literally a 3-in-1.
Yep. It's really, really weird. The
If you
spines
don't
look
know-
like they're 3 separate books, but you
yeah.
pick it up, it's one solid book.
Yeah, it's like, what the hell?
It's the strangest thing in the world, but that is my 3x3 with my honorable mention as well. Any weird thoughts on these? Any questions you want to ask about my 3x3? Why I picked something?
Not really. I mean, it's. I guess what was the one I was thinking of? Zom 100. I was surprised wasn't up there.
So I thought about it, and Free Run just took its place essentially. Zom 100 is relatively unique, and it's a zombie thing, which is cool. But like, I picked up Free Run right around the same exact time I picked up Zom 100, and I just liked Free Run as a story better. But if I were to replace one for Zom 100, it'd either be Candy Flurry or Summertime Rendering. I really love Zom 100. Don't get me wrong, but Free Run was the main one that beat it out, essentially, from being on my 3x3. Plus, I have other comedies on there, just like with the rom-coms and One Punch Man as well, so kind of fit that niche for it.
Cool.
Yeah, so would you like to go next, Thane, with your 3x3?
Sure, I guess.
By the way, I should have like asked you for the pictures. I'm pretty sure I got everything right, but one of them I was very confused about. But I think
I
it's
could
right.
look at. Let's see. Let's see what it is. Yeah. Okay. So up here we got Attack on Titan, Dragon Ball, Hunter x Hunter, Space Brothers, One Piece, One Punch Man, the Enigma at Amigahara Fault. Yeah, that's a good picture. It's only like a one shot. Berserk and Heavenly Delusion.
Okay, so that was my question. Was the Amigara Fault?
Yeah.
That's a Junji Ito one, right?
Yeah.
And that's all I could find about that specifically. But
yeah,
was it like
it's a one shot?
Was it compiled into like another book?
Yeah, it's like it's a funny thing. I have 2 Junji Ito collections that have that one shot. I guess I can start right here. So
okay, here we go. Cool.
Amigara Fault is a short story, and I would have put Uzumaki there, but I've yet to read it. Along with all my, I'm gonna do the honorable mention here at the beginning of all the manga that are on my shelf. That
I mean they're boxed up.
No, I've opened them. I've
no. I'm saying they're not on your shelf anymore.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh,
They're
they're
boxed
moving.
up at my house. I've already took them long ago, and maybe one thing I'll do is I'll keep them in the box, then get a bookshelf, and then I pull it out of the box and read it, and then put it on the bookshelf. It's gonna take a while, but
I've read more of Thane's manga than Thane's read of
no.
Thane's manga.
I know you read all my Doro Hidoros as
And
I
I
was
read-
buying them.
I read all of Akira.
Yeah, so that's my honorable mention. All the manga that I've yet to read: the Junji Ito's Battle Alita, Doro Hidoro, all that.
Nausicaa.
Vinland Saga. I really want to get to that one someday, and some of them probably would be up there if I actually read them.
And you have all of Vinland
Yeah.
Saga too. Well,
Yeah.
it's caught up anyway.
Yeah, I do. And probably some other manga would have been on there that if I didn't read, like haven't read a few chapters, but maybe we'll update this someday and you'll see a better one. But right now, I guess I'll start with this one. This one's a short story by Junji Ito. It's probably one of his best. even though I haven't read too many. But it's it's definitely like when you think horror and like mystery, this is a good one. This is like one of the best horror short stories in general, horror stories in general. It's just about these group of people that where this mountain, Amagara Fault, literally just has human shaped holes. And then people are like, huh, this hole, it seems weird, and then it was made for me. And they go in and they slowly slide in, and it's like, I'm sliding in, help, and they slowly slide into the mountain until they're gone. You don't see them anymore. And throughout the short story, the group starts slowly disappearing. And the two main characters like, oh my god, the hole is calling to me. And it's just so eerie. It's like, what's in the hole? What does it do to you? I'd say go read it, because
I'd like to read it.
Yeah, it's like, it's still ambiguous, but what happens at the end, you're like, oh my god,
is that one of his
that's
first?
so creepy. No, it's like towards the middle of his career. He started in like the 80s, but this one definitely is creepy. Don't read it late at night. You'll probably be just remember if you hear the sound dirt, 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 that's like the little onomatopoeia. It's like dirt, 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 something like that. Like, I think it's supposed to signify like some kind of growling or rocks moving or something, like sliding. It's creepy. It's creepy as hell. We got Berserk, also pretty creepy but pretty badass. Guts is
He's broken. He's a broken human being.
He's one of the best protagonists and one of the broken protagonists. He's been through so much, man. You know that Ellie meme where it's like, where that someone posts like, name more characters that suffered more than her. I'll wait. Several people posted a bunch of characters that arguably suffered more than Ellie, but Guts was like in there several times, and it's true.
When you said a broken man or a broken character, I thought you meant like they were overpowered. You meant like emotionally broken.
Emotionally scarred.
Well, he is pretty overpowered at times for being human.
Big sword.
But yeah, he wields a sword that, like, was kind of a joke by the blacksmith. It's like, no one's meant to wield this. But Guts wields it effortlessly.
So I got a quick question for you, Thane. Why is the manga so weird? Like, the first, in my experience with Berserk, was bad. Like, I had to go to like several different apps to find Berserk to read it in the right order because it was so jumbled.
I will tell you right now, the best way to read it is probably just get it physically, like, or get it.
But those Bibles are like $50.
Well, you can also get it digitally for each volume. So
it's
I'd
probably
say,
what I should do, because I read the first like 10 chapters and I'm like, what's going on? And then there's like a time skip backwards. It was weird.
Yeah. So yeah, the first arc is like jumps forward and then it flashes back to his mercenary days, kind of like the anime. But I think when you go to most like shady websites, it's gonna have like 0.1, 0.2, 0.3.
I hate it.
And then go up to 0.16. And then it goes chapter 1. I think that's like they were serializing in a different magazine, and then they started the count over when they go into a new magazine. Okay. I'm not sure, but yeah, I'd say probably do this one physical since the scanlations are really weird on this website. But it's a good read. It's a very dark read. It's very dark,
bloody.
A lot of
it's dying.
A lot of women in peril, if you get my drift. Naked.
You mean not apparel? Yeah. Women in not apparel.
in peril. Like,
I like your clothless bra you're wearing.
And
it got me.
And
you're welcome.
Inspiration for Dark Souls or something like that.
Yeah.
Miyazaki.
Yeah.
Is that true?
What? Oh, you look at some of the characters and some of the designs, like the overall tones. Like, yeah, they clearly were inspired by Berserk.
Oh, I didn't know if that was like on record, if Miyazaki said that or not.
No, he's inspired by fantasy, and this is probably one he took inspiration from. There's even like these archers that looks like a character from Berserk. It's like, yeah, he totally got inspiration from it. Then we got Heavily Delusion. Now, this was when we did the random manga challenge. Where
That's a throwback, dude.
Yeah, we picked a random manga. That one, I looked at it. It's like, what's this? And I looked at the author. He did a comedy called And Yet the Town Moves. It's like, I read a few chapters. I like that one. Then I read it, and I was like, holy crap. This is so underrated. This is good. And as it kept going, there was a point where it kind of like did this big revelation. It was like, whoa. That's mind-blowing. And I'm thinking that that's where the anime will end. And I just want to say this is probably I hope more people give this one a shot because it is good. It's like a post-apocalyptic anime where like two people are trying to find heaven in a post-apocalyptic hellscape, and they're fighting monsters. And Maru, one of the blonde-haired kid, he has like the Maru touch. He could like kill these man-eaters who are apparently like seemingly invincible by popping their heart on the inside or something. Then Kumiko, I'm having a hard time remembering their names. She has a lot of trauma in her backstory with their backstory in her life, and she's really complicated character, but she guards Maru and they have to go find heaven. And then there's this whole subplot in a facility where these kids are like have mutant powers and they're kept shielded from the outside world, and as it keeps going it gets weirder with these kids,
like X-Men Days of Future Past.
Yeah, something like that.
I don't know why that's the one I said.
Or just New Mutants, I guess.
That's better. That's
the comic book, not the movie. I heard the movie was pretty bad. But anyways, that's Heavenly Delusion. I don't want to talk about it too much because I'd say just read it or watch it.
Yeah, the anime is pretty good, so it's coming out this season.
Then we got I guess I could go up here. We got One Punch Man. Cole already said a lot of good stuff about that, but what I gotta say is that the art is probably arguably the best art.
True. Yeah, I didn't even mention that. Yusuke Murata.
Yeah.
He's
like
killing it, dude. Absolutely.
I don't know how he does it. Every time he makes a chapter, he always has this big epic scale. And like this is a guy who's claimed that at one point he was going to die. Like he thought he was going to die. So he's drawing like he's going to die. Like he's like, I gotta get this masterpiece out. And yeah, the plot's not the most mind-blowing. The main character is a little too overpowered that they have to like have a bunch of side characters fill up chapters. Like this last arc was pretty notorious for it. I thought it went on for a bit too long. It's like just have Saitama just come up and kill them all. But
it is still pretty fun.
Yeah,
though.
it was. Yeah, but the fights were pretty good. But and especially the actually Saitama fight against the character, I won't say who, but that fight was epic.
Yes, very.
I like
epic.
how they kind of just forsaked the meaning of the name just for that fight.
Yeah, we'll talk about scale as well, though.
Yeah,
like that fight was extra on the scale.
He's no longer One Punch Man. He uses multiple punches in that fight, but that's actually good. Maybe he wasn't being serious enough.
He might have not in his super serious punch.
Yeah. And even then we fought the alien, like he had a bunch of tentacles that he had to punch away.
Yeah.
Because he had to get to the center. That was awesome.
That's a good show. Good.
I think
good
like when it gets goofy, but when it gets serious, it gets serious, man. It's just mind blowing. And it's a pretty good parody on the superhero genre, so and shonen genre. Two birds with one stone.
Before you get to your next one, I'm going to cut you off right here, and we're going to take a break so we can let our camera cool down. And then when we get back, Thane will finish up the rest of his 3x3, and then we'll hear from Skylar and see what his 3x3 is all about. We'll see you guys in just a bit. I had this like weird out of body experience when I did that, or I was behind the camera watching what I did, and I was just instantly like, no, I don't like that. All right, everybody.
You astral projected there for a
Astral
minute.
projected, yeah. Welcome back, everybody. We are back from our break, and we're going to continue on with Thane's 3x3, picking up where he left off right after his One Punch Man talk.
Yeah.
What do you got for us?
Actually, someone mentioned astral projection, and I remember one time asking.
You're the one who mentioned it.
Me. Yeah, sorry, me.
That someone was
is
me.
That someone was me. I remember my mom asked my mom, "What's astral projection?" And said, "I don't know." And that's the first time I heard my parents say, "I don't know" about something, and I was like, "What do I do?" then I later
He had an existential
Yeah.
crisis.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Then I later learned it's just a
Anime. It's an anime.
just your soul. You can project your soul out of your body and move from your soul. That's what it is.
It's Yu Yu Hakusho.
Yeah, it's Yu Yu Hakusho.
Or that one episode of Pokemon.
Yeah.
No, he died.
You don't know. Watch the
Did that.
Pokemon specials of Life is Daijoubu. Anyways.
Nice plug. Now plug us with your rest of your 3x3.
I'll plug you good. Here in the middle we have One Piece. Now I will admit, it's not the best show, but by terms of scale and by popularity,
It's the best.
it's the it is one of the mangas of all time.
Oh my gosh, he said it.
He did.
That's crazy.
In fact, I would dare say it's one of the greatest mangas of all
He
time.
actually said it that time.
It is definitely a culturally significant manga. Now, there are a few problems with the story, but the story is fun when it's doing fun. I just kind of wish these later arcs wouldn't have 16 fights at once in one arc at one time. But that's just me. Right now, it's
You
consolidated.
mean you don't have ADHD?
Yeah.
So it's not for you then.
Wait, are you telling me Oda just figured out how to make manga for the TikToker age? Is that what he's
Yeah.
It's like how can I make a manga that looks just like a TikTok, or at least has the
Yeah.
pacing of one?
Yeah. So I like where the manga is right now. It's supposed to end in 4 or 5 years, the creator says. But where we are now, it's been a pretty long journey. It's been pretty fun. A lot of characters whose names I forgot by now, when they mention them again, I'll be like, it's that guy. I know that guy. But I remember the
like
main...
Shanks.
Yeah, Shanks. I always remember Shanks. He's so cool. Shanks is cool.
He has red hair.
Yeah. Red-haired Shanks. That's his full pirate name.
What about Monkey D. Luffy?
Yeah.
With two O's.
Right now, these chapters are focusing on Monkey D. Garp, his grandfather.
He's got a grandpa?
Yeah.
Dang.
You ever get to
freaking
see his dad?
spoilers.
Yeah, but he's like still like mysterious character. His name's Monkey D. Dragon.
Spoiler.
I read his I read a little bit about his brother, Monkey D.
He's,
No, that's not. It wasn't supposed to be a D's nuts joke.
Oh.
I promise. It was actually somebody. Who was it?
I don't
What's his
remember
brother's
having.
name?
I don't remember having a brother. Oh, are you talking about Luffy's brother?
Luffy's brother.
Ace.
Yeah, Monkey
Ace.
D. Ace.
No, his name's Portgas D. Ace.
Oh.
They're not blood brothers.
Oh.
In fact, well, that's spoiler territory. I'm not going to get into that. But anyways, Ace is cool.
It's out of context. I have no idea what it means.
Yeah, people know it when they know the context. Blackbeard's a douche.
I love how we're just getting these like reviews of everything.
Anyways, I like the characters. It's the characters that carry it.
What do you rate it out of 10?
Mid.
I rated it an 8.
So it's
No.
mid.
Damn you! You want to know? Watch last week's episode.
2 weeks
not
ago.
a
2
mi-
weeks ago.
It's not a mid manga. It's
It's above mid.
It's a
high
pirate
mid.
manga.
it's more than mid. It's One Piece. And when it's all over, I'll probably cry.
Cool.
So sorry, that was a little long, but it's One Piece. What do you expect?
I'll dry your tears for
I see
you.
what you did there.
We got Space Brothers. It's a comedy drama.
This is the first time I've ever heard this thing about this
Same.
thing at all.
Same.
Literally,
This-
I got the paper that said Space Brothers on it from Thane, and I was made the 3x3s. I'm like, what is this? And I type it into Google. I'm like, I have no idea what I'm looking at. Tell us
Yeah.
about it.
So I watched the Space Brothers anime. And I was
Is
really
it anime? Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, there's so much I don't know.
And it's surprisingly long. They did it like weekly, and it was like 99 episodes. It's like, wow, this is usually manga like this don't get this long of animes.
That's very long.
But it's about two brothers. So it like has flashbacks of when they're younger and like when they're adults. And when they were younger, they're like, I'm good. Let's go into space. And like the younger brother, Namba, he's
the
like
astronaut looking one.
Yeah, he's like, I'm gonna go to the moon. And then Muto, the older one, well, the one with the afro, he's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna go to Mars. So then, as they grow up, he becomes an astronaut. He's the first Japanese man to go to, who's gonna go to the moon. And then Muto, he makes cars. He designs cars.
Oh, that's cool.
Far from what his dream originally was.
Good for him though. Cars are cool. I like cars.
Until he got fired. By headbutting a guy, like that one famous FIFA match. They mentioned that where the guy headbutts the other guy.
I don't watch soccer.
It was a thing back in 2006. They mention it in the anime too, so when he does it, it's like, haha, it's like that game.
I was playing Guitar Hero 3 back then, sorry.
But he gets fired, and then he's like, what am I going to do? And then his parents, who are goofy goofballs, his mom's like, oh yeah, I just submitted your application to NASA, and here they gave this letter, and it says, hey, we're accepting you into NASA. It's like
USA NASA?
Yeah, like, well, like,
or like the Japanese version
the
of it.
Japanese version, like,
I don't know what it's called.
Is it
NASA? It's JAXA, actually. JAXA.
Oh, JAXA.
Yeah.
That was close. You were laughing. I was
That's because
close.
you were memeing the way you said it. You meant it as a meme.
And
sometimes memes get
and
you
he's
places.
like, my dream that I want to go into space, it's gonna come true. And so then it goes on his journey of trying to become an astronaut, and the author did his research. He made sure like make it as grounded and realistic as possible, and it's fun. It's just a fun manga, and it's a pretty inspiring manga too. It's like, damn, you want to follow your dreams,
do it.
Yeah, do it. Anything's possible.
Thanks, Naruto.
Yeah.
Databayo.
Thanks Muto. Yeah, that's Space Brothers. I'd recommend it. It's a pretty good one. It's pretty long. It's a drama. But I think if you're remotely into space, I think it will scratch your fancy. So we got Hunter.
Scratch my fancy.
Wait, I think I should start. Where should I? I'll start right here. We got Attack on Titan. This was actually like when I saw Crunchyroll was doing simulpub manga. I was like, I saw Attack on Titan right there, and I also saw Fairy Tail. Let's just say I didn't like Fairy Tail that much.
You liked it enough to read the whole thing?
Yeah, I know.
Wait,
stamped it.
Then I hated it at the end.
I've read and watched stuff that I didn't like.
Same.
Yeah.
I know I've rated something.
I thought to myself I liked it at first, and then and then the final arc happened, and I was like, I don't like this. And then I read the ending, I was like, I really didn't like this. And then I realized that Hiro Mashima was just a hack the whole time. But anyways, about Attack on Titan, that was one of the other ones on there. And I was reading Attack on Titan, and I was like, I really like the anime. Oh man, I really like the manga. And then they have some big reveals. It's like, wow, this is a good freaking manga. And then I just learned about, and then like the anime that got me into simulcast was also the manga that got me into simulpub.
Wait, so Attack on Titan's the anime that got you into simulcast?
Yeah.
Do you know what the anime that got me into simulcast was?
What?
Sword Art Online Gun Gale online.
That's an anime.
The spin-off one.
Yeah.
With like the little pink girl P-chan. She has a P90. She named it P-chan. It's hilarious.
Yeah.
So there's not very many anime that get simulcast, right?
What do you mean? What are you talking about?
I don't know.
Everything we watch is
It's
simulcast essentially. Yeah, like all of our weeklies.
On Crunchyroll.
Yeah.
Oh, that means it's like coming out. I thought you meant like simulcast. Anytime you guys said that, I was just like, does that mean it gets published English dub too the same day?
Some do.
Some do, but it's pretty rare. Those are simuldubs.
Yeah.
Simuldubs, okay.
Not the
That's
most
a fan
popular
word,
ones.
I think, though.
You know what? The only show I know that got simuldubbed, they call it a simuldub. It was the freaking Tomboy one. Tomo-chan
was simuldub?
Yeah, that was the only one I knew that got simuldubs. Like, oh, not super popular ones like freaking. What do we have that? Vinland Saga.
A couple years back, there was something that was simul-dubbed, and I watched it dubbed. And I remember thinking the dub wasn't that great. And then, like, after a couple of weeks, they refixed the dub to make it better.
Mob Psycho was simul-dubbed.
Why do they call it simulcast?
Oh, I watched
instead of
that
just
simul-dubbed.
airing?
Yeah,
that
I
was
watched
good.
it too.
That was pretty decent, though.
Yeah.
Why do they call it simulcast instead of just saying it's airing?
Because it's just casting exactly what they did in
simultaneous
Japan.
casting from Japan to America.
Okay.
And then when they
Instead
dub
of
it-
having like a day delayed or something or a week or whatever.
Yeah, and when they do a simul dub, they have to get like the episode early and then get all the dubs and then throw it out. So it's much more harder.
Yeah. Attack on Titan, it's great. I'm a bit different. I'm still kind of mixed on the ending, but but then they released a bonus chapter in the end. I thought, wow, that's a pretty good wrap up.
I like how it's Spider-Man with knives.
Yeah. Swords.
I don't even know.
There's swords, Mom.
Box cutters.
I don't
Box
even know what you
cutters.
guys are talking about.
Spider-Man? Attack on Titan?
Oh, I get it now. I thought you were talking about the ending specifically.
No.
I was like, oh.
No, I just
The
like how they're webbing around.
Yeah.
They're shooting their webs all over the town.
The whole show's pretty good. I liked it.
The anime's finally going to end this year.
Yeah, finally. But we're moving on. Going to Dragon Ball. It's a show I watched when I was growing up, and when I read the manga again, it's like, this is actually a fun read. This is actually pretty fun. Like where you thought, oh man, Dragon Ball, they were screaming for like 15 episodes.
That's why my mom wouldn't let me watch
This
it.
one, they scream for one panel and go Super Saiyan. It's like, at like the infamous memed scene where it's like, this is a Super Saiyan. This is Super Saiyan 2. This is what it means to go beyond. He's screaming for 5 minutes. That was like, I think of the manga was like, watch, I'll show you my new power. And just go Super Saiyan 3.
But the meme's funny.
I know the meme's funny, but like the manga pacing is so much better. And it's
I guess that's like the same for any shonen though, to be honest.
Yeah. It's just fun even in manga format, like how Akira Toriyama just choreographed the moves. You can feel the action from the panels. It's like, wow, this guy knows how to draw manga. And I kind of figured that out from watching a Super Eye Patch Wolf video on why you should read Dragon Ball. It's like, wow, I didn't realize how like manga can be drawn like this, but this is eye-opening. How like to choreograph fights in manga format. It's pretty good. So I'd say if you're gonna revisit Dragon Ball, just read the manga. It's so much better. You can also watch Kai, but I think the manga is like a concise package, and it feels real good to read. It's quick too. Like chapters go by so fast. You could probably read it in like a weekend maybe. At least Dragon Ball Z may take longer. The only downside is the Buu saga, because I think that's the point where Shuisu's like, hey, we need more. We can't end it right here. It's like, all right. He kind of went crazy. He kind of had to like milk the juice out. Then we got Hunter x Hunter, which is like top tier shonen manga.
Agreed.
It's like they took regular concepts and like amplified it and made it feel like stakes were like on the line.
I like the arc where they play a card game.
Freaking Greed Island.
That's like my favorite part.
I think each arc is pretty fun. I think like, at first you think, oh, it's just a normal shonen, but then like people start dying like more frequently than other shonen manga. Like Hisoka just kills people out of the blue. It's like, oh man, this is pretty violent. And then like characters who they introduce who like really cool in New York, New City, they just die, and it's like, wow, this show doesn't mess around. And it wasn't in like, rarely does any like Shonen Jump manga like kill people. Like Demon Slayer does it, like shorter ones like Demon Slayer and Death Note, which is, I'm still surprised it's a shonen manga because of like
how dark it is.
Yeah, how dark and very complex it is. It's like, this is a weekly Shonen Jump manga. But yeah, Hunter x Hunter is kind of like it looks on the surface, it looks like a standard shonen, but it's like in the in the underground. It's like so complex. And that's what I like about it. It's complexity, like how it really like feels like the author, like I can never remember his name. Togashi, yeah,
Togashi.
The guy that has to like sit on his belly because his back hurts so bad.
I thought he lays on his back and draws upwards.
So is that what
he made a diagram where he's like laying down on like a beanbag and he's doing this.
Oh,
yeah, I guess he could also do that, but one of the best comments, like, I can't even wipe my ass properly.
Oh, poor man.
It's like, oh my god, dude, you have to do the rag on a stick method.
Oh
yeah.
Gosh, I got that image in my head.
Just go bidet, bro.
Yeah,
go bidet, and then maybe get like a butthole dryer. I'm sure those exist.
Your wife
I'm
has
sure
to
those
change your
exist.
diaper now.
I got a question. I got a question about your 3x3. I'm surprised that Full Metal Alchemist isn't on there.
I never read the manga.
Oh, okay. Well, that clears up my.
I mean,
surprise.
Brotherhood does. I would like to read it someday, but Brotherhood pretty much does summarize it, so I haven't got around to it.
Yeah.
And Brotherhood's really good.
Also, there's several others I definitely would have liked to put if I got around to the manga. I would like to put 20th Century Boys. That I have a whole library story that I've probably shared somewhere, but when the local library denied me 20th Century Boys,
Rip the homie.
But I also got Alita. I could have put Nausicaa. Nausicaa's pretty long, and like the manga I have, it doesn't really have chapters. Like each volume is a chapter, and like so I have to like kind of figure out where the chapter would have ended in a volume. And a bunch of other stuff that I have physically that probably would go up here compared to other stuff, like maybe Attack on Titan would have gone, and I would have put something else. But I still like Attack on Titan.
Yeah.
Maybe Dragon Ball would have gone off. Probably still kept One Piece. Or actually, I probably just kept Hunter x Hunter, and these two probably would have gone, because Hunter x Hunter is probably my favorite shonen. Yeah, and then probably put Uzumaki in there instead of Amigara Fault. And but I do like these manga. I think this is a good representation of my manga.
I think
tastes.
it's a good explanation of your tastes.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for sharing with us, sir.
Yep.
Now it's time for Skylar's 3x3.
It's time for Degenerate City, baby.
Oh my!
Oh.
Holy degenerate!
So we've got from top to bottom. We got Nisekoi, Rent a Girlfriend, Promised Neverland, Chainsaw Man, Domestic Girlfriend, Maid Sama, Zelda Ocarina of Time, Rosario Vampire, and Beastars.
You know, if I thought of Chainsaw Man, I probably would have put it on there, but
I was really surprised that you guys didn't put Chainsaw Man on there, to be honest.
I mean, I do like Chainsaw Man, but I don't know.
It's my turn.
I think One Punch Man was where Chainsaw Man would have been. Because,
hey, you had your 3x3.
I know.
Let the man speak.
Okay, but let's.
So I'm going to start from the bottom and work my way up because I think it would just make a little more sense. Also, just to answer the questions of why those three. So we'll start with Zelda. This was the first. I actually believe that I got. There's a video on our Patreon. Go subscribe. Where it was our first trip that we went to Barnes & Noble.
First ever?
I believe so.
Wow.
And I got Ocarina of Time, and I got the first volume of Rent a Girlfriend. I believe those are the first two manga I ever actually got.
Let's
physically.
go.
So,
oh, shoot, yeah, because the timeline was I bought Rent a Girlfriend online, and we went to Barnes & Noble that weekend, and you bought Rent a Girlfriend before I got it. I was like, this freaking guy.
But yeah, Ocarina of Time specifically was the first manga that I physically owned. But as Cole does his Pokemon manga videos, I also do Zelda manga videos because I believe I own every Zelda manga there is that has been published now. So I've been doing Zelda manga videos, but it's like the manga versus the game. So that's been a lot of fun. But it's really cool to see Link be a person and not just a Link.
A silent protagonist.
Yeah, silent protagonist. Thank you. On to the next one is
the original silent protagonist. If you think about it,
Mario didn't talk.
Yeah, well, actually, a lot of them didn't talk because there wasn't much dialogue. It's like, thank you, hero. You saved the day.
They didn't have that much storage
Yeah.
space on the cartridges.
Yeah.
E.T. didn't talk.
Yeah, he did. He went phone home.
Fine.
He stretches his neck and flies. So my next one is Rosario Vampire. And this is interesting. The reason I put this one up there, I think it's okay. Like, I think parts of it is, like, really fun. But it was during the I would say the peak of mine and Cole's manga collecting, and Thane as well. I was at work, and I was reading on the Shonen Jump app. I was like, dang, I had just finished a series called Claymore. I'm like, awesome. I need something else to read now. And so I saw literally that picture. I think that's what the thumbnail is on it. But it was like, well, she's cute. And then I read the description. It was about monsters. I'm like, I'm in. So I read like the first 2 or 3 chapters, and I really liked it. So then I went on Amazon and I bought the entire box set. And that was the first box set of manga that I
It was
owned.
on sale though, so you got it for a decent price.
I think I got it like $30 off or something, maybe even more actually.
Had to be more because I think you only paid like 120 or something.
I paid $120.
and you almost got 30 volumes out of that thing.
Yes, I believe it's
Like 26 or something.
Something like that, yeah. Anyway, I read the whole thing. It's fun. I like it. I like monsters. The girls are cute. The characters are fun. I should probably reread it because I believe when I was reading it, I flew through it. I was just reading so much at that time. Yeah, I don't know. It's fun. I think anybody could read it. Be like, wow, this is a cute little monster romance, high school.
Twilight, but anime.
Yeah, thank you. It's exactly what it is.
It's Twilight, but with a bit of Harry Potter.
Does it have magic?
Yeah, they go to a school.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay,
they go to
yeah.
they go to a monster school. The main character, by the way, he's a human. He's not a monster. So
Is the girl a vampire?
yeah, she's a vampire.
His name is it's weird how
That's
they
hot.
pronounce it, but it's pronounced Sukune.
I always said Sakune.
Sukune, but in dub they pronounce it Skune.
Do you guys have that issue when reading names in manga where you're just like, that sounds good in my
Every
head?
now and then, I'll just make up names for them. I think I told you about that back in the day. I remember. I don't know of an example, but if it had said something, it looked like it started with a J. There was an S somewhere. I'd be like, oh, it's Josh.
And his real name was Jash.
Or something. Like
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
So on to the next one. We got Beastars. Beastars, I feel like, is one of those series where if you read or watch it, you get looks. You get looks from people. Okay?
Yeah.
And I'm here to dispel...
Furry.
I'm here to dispel that, okay? Beastars is really, really good. I watched...
Listen, she just watched Zootopia once. Is like, hey, I can make this dark and gritty
and fun.
and fun.
So I believe that Cole and I watched the first season together on Netflix.
We sure did. It was fun.
And
I
I
liked it.
really, really liked it. And I wasn't into reading manga at this time, so I was like, damn, I gotta wait for season 2. Season 2 came out. I watched that, and then I binged the entire manga series.
You watched it without me because you thought it'd be too weird to watch it with a homie.
Which I believe there was less sexual tension in season 2 than
even the first
than in
season.
the first one. Yeah.
We watched a couple episodes of Game of Thrones together, sir, and you wouldn't let me watch Beastars with you.
You're
Wow.
right. We did have big blankets
Wow.
we were hiding under.
We were hiding
Wow.
our shame under the blanket.
It's just hentai with the homies. Jeez.
Yeah, come on, it's fine.
You're
Wow,
invited next
yeah.
time if that's what you're wondering.
I'm good.
Yeah, Beastars is fun. Like it's such a fun story. It's like it's got a whole bunch of it's like a high school drama, but then it's also got like a murder mystery aspect to it.
Cool world too.
Yeah, really cool world. There's not that much furry stuff in there. It's a little weird seeing basically humans walking around with animal faces.
You get into it, trust me.
Yeah, but like you see a deer and they don't have hooves. They literally have fingers. They
They're
have
hot,
fingers
though.
and feet. There's a rabbit with boobies.
Hot.
Anyway, it's if you could get past that though and actually jump into it, it's really, really fun.
You can get past it in a lot of ways.
Yeah. So the next one we've got is Maid Sama. Maid Sama is one of those series where I got really addicted to watching anime. And I watched the only season that they have. It was on Netflix at the time. I watched it. And I was like, dang, I really like this. I need more. Although the anime had a pretty solid ending, I was like, there's got to be more. So I looked it up. Sure enough, there was a whole bunch more after that. and Maid-sama was tons of fun. I read all of it, then I started collecting it physically, and 3 years later, I finally have it all, so that's a win.
You want to see something cursed?
Sure.
This is one of Pero Itagaki's manga who writes Beastars, and it's just this.
I've seen that picture before.
You want to see? It's a girl's nose bleeding. Just look up "Drip Drip" by Pero Itagaki or "Drip Drip" manga.
So
it's like,
I'm gonna try and go quick
she
because
draws
our camera's
humans,
just doing
it
the
just
thing.
looks disturbing, but when
Hopefully,
she draws
I don't
animes,
get cut off
animals,
anymore.
it looks fine.
Probably will though.
Yeah.
Probably will though.
So in the middle, we've got Domestic Girlfriend. Domestic Girlfriend was the first manga I ever read. Our buddy Alex told me about it. He's like, it's the best thing ever. Watch the series.
Alex.
I watched the first season. I was like, dang, this is just hot trash, but I want more.
I really considered putting this one on mine too.
And I read the whole thing, and I thought the ending is the dumbest thing ever.
Specifically, since there won't be a season 2 ever.
I thought the ending was the dumbest thing ever, but my God, is it such a fun ride to get there. Yeah,
Would
Domestic
recommend.
Girlfriend literally got me into reading manga, so thanks.
Gets the thumbs up.
Chainsaw Man was one that Thane had been begging Cole and I to read for months and months and months. Cole finally read it, and he read it really fast, and then he's like, you got to read it. So I was like, cool. I did, read it. Chainsaw Man slaps. Nothing else to say there.
Still good too.
That's when I describe it's like, God, it's so heavy metal, you got to read it.
Nisekoi was one of those where I watched the anime and I wanted more. Like, the anime just did not end very well, in my opinion. It leaves you wanting more. And I was reading it on the Shonen Jump app.
Adaptation.
I was reading it on the Shonen Jump app, but it was under Thane's account. And so Thane was reading a whole bunch, and I was reading a whole bunch
of episodes.
Oh, yeah, downloading.
Yeah.
So we kept hitting this threshold, so I had to slowly read it because you can only do 100 chapters a day. So I was like, God damn it, Thane. But, like, he paid for it.
It's my app,
exactly.
It's like, I'd have to say, God damn it, Sky.
But the worst part is you would download a whole bunch of chapters, but I'm like, bro, you can't even read that much in a day.
Through a week. They last up to 7 days. It's through a week.
I know. It doesn't matter. It's over with. Nisekoi is really fun. It's probably one of my favorite rom-coms. I really liked the ending, but I really liked the characters too, so it's a fun ride.
I really liked it too. Skylar got me on that one as well.
Yeah. We got Rent-A-Girlfriend. This is another one. I watched the first season, and I was like, I want more. So I started reading Rent-A-Girlfriend. Like I already mentioned, it was another one of those first physical things that I collected. And like Cole already mentioned, up to a point, it's really, really good. And then it hits a peak, and then it just kind of fizzles out, in my opinion. And now with the K-Manga app, will we get any more? Fork up the money, I guess. But then my last one is Promised Neverland. I watched season 1. I loved it. It's got such an interesting premise. It reminded me so much of stuff like The Maze Runner. It's kind of got that weird, freaky world, but it's also got that storytelling I love where it starts you zoomed in, and then the more you watch, it expands upon. You're like, oh, you get the bigger picture.
It's like bigger. You're watching the manga, bigger. You're watching the anime, bigger. Oh, fuck, go back.
Yeah, it's don't watch the anime. Don't watch season 2. You can watch season 1, but if you're gonna consume it, just read the manga. It's really, really good. And it was the first manga series that I collected all 20 volumes. Like, I finished the series collecting it. So I really like Promised Neverland. I think it's got such an interesting premise.
The manga ending was kind of rushed.
Yeah, I didn't really like the ending of the manga.
And then they made a bunch of one-shot
anime.
True.
Way better. And what's disappointing is they had a bunch of manga one-shots at the end. It's like, oh, we're going to get more concise endings. Like, no, it's just a bunch of side stories.
Yeah,
it's
I think you get the mom. I didn't starts with an L. Lily's Lullaby. I don't remember her name.
Luna Lovegood.
Sure. Yeah, that sounds good. Yeah, anyway, that's my manga stuff. I really haven't been into manga it's been very recent. I haven't been into it that long. Thane finally got me to start reading. Well, it was Domestic Girlfriend, let's be honest. But I remember Cole and I kept telling Thane, we're like, why would we read the manga? We can just watch the anime.
And now look at us.
Yeah, we are. So that's it for me. I mean, you could look at that. You'd be like, yeah, that's definitely Sky.
So take a look at you now.
Honestly, yeah, I the only thing I think of for Thane was Full Metal, but yeah, for you, I don't have any. Like, that's always, like, yeah, that's Sky.
My honorable mention was Demon Slayer. I actually had it on there first, but I was like,
The anime is so much better for
Yeah, the anime
manga,
really
you
is
know.
so much better. Demon Slayer, you should just watch the anime, and I guarantee you it's gonna get the full thing. So
Yeah.
There's one thing I noticed about all three of us.
Super successful. Of course, it's gonna get the whole thing. It's a
We-
money generating.
We all had one manga
Cash
that we
cow.
got to and went, yeah, it's okay.
Yeah.
And we're like, why is it even on there? We're just saying that, but it's,
I think
it's
with
got
my
reasons.
3
It's
by
got
3, yeah, like I
sentimentals.
said, with my 3x3, I said like, oh, these are manga I've actually read enough of, but also like that I've actually
Same.
somewhat enjoyed.
I was going for sentimental stuff too,
Yeah.
for sure. I mean, I also wanted to mix in my tastes with sentimental, and I think that's kind of what you guys all did too. But
yeah.
that is our 3x3s, everyone. Thank you all for watching. We hope you have enjoyed. Let us know what some of your favorite manga are. Have they been made into an anime? Have they gotten an adaptation? If not, then would you want to see your favorite mangas as an anime? Let us
Do
know
you
in
have
the
that
comments.
one friend that says it's not that good, and then you get in an argument with?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Once again, next in 2 weeks we'll be on with Suzume. No Pokemon next week. We're still doing the moving transition thing, but in sometime in June, Pokemon should come back. Anyway, we'll see you guys in 2 weeks with Suzume. Have a great life, and we'll see you guys then.